Hello, hello, welcome on in to another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're going to be drinking Woodford Reserve's Master's Collection. It is their chocolate malted rye Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Correct.
Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for upcoming videos.
Alrighty then.
Matt, tell us
Yes.
a little bit about this mouthful.
Yes, it's definitely a mouthful. It's a 90.4 proof, and it's a heavily roasted, basically they sugar or caramelize these ryes to become a chocolate rye to give you a dark chocolate note. It's 70% corn, 15% chocolate malted rye, and 50% barley, and it's about $130.
So we're throwing a lot of terms out there. This is a chocolate malted rye,
It's really deceiving.
but it's also a Kentucky
ridiculous.
straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah,
So,
so give us some
The
intel
classification
about that.
is a bourbon, correct?
It is a bourbon, yeah. Since it's
Okay.
70% corn, it's
Okay.
this is their master collection. So every year they put out a new one. They put out an oat last year, and they put out smoked cherry wood. They put out a brandy and white corn, all sorts of weird things. So every year it's experimentals more or less, and it's their master collection. Chris Morris picks one of these every year.
Their master collection is all about confusing people.
Yes,
Okay.
clearly,
Okay.
because that is probably the most ridiculous name I've ever heard. To be real honest.
Seriously.
I mean, how confused. You figure just
Is
from
it
the
a
name.
small batch too?
It is a small batch too.
Oh, of course
So you
it's
got
a
that
small
going
batch.
for you.
Oh, I
So
love
I mean, until you even find on the very bottom of the label, you find that it's a bourbon.
Kentucky straight bourbon
Yeah,
whiskey.
at the in tiny little letters at the bottom. Because if you just glance at this, you think it's gonna be chocolate malted rye.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what it says in the big letters. But whatever. I mean, in the little book says limited edition chocolate malted rye.
It doesn't even
It doesn't
say.
mention. Does it say bourbon anywhere on there?
Not that
That's
I.
great. I mean, in the book, it has a little story and all the the usual Woodford. We've done the Woodford history and everything over in our previous videos. So
It
check
finally
those
says
out.
it's Kentucky bourbon whiskey on the
last
last line of the first page of the
yeah,
book.
that's good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Way to throw
fantastic.
people off.
All right, good job, Woodford. All right, so let's see if this is any good then.
It smells like Tootsie Roll.
A young Tootsie Roll. A young bourbon.
A young Tootsie Roll.
A young Tootsie Roll.
Who doesn't want a young Tootsie Roll?
It's
like the
better
little
than an
tiny
old
ones, not the big ones.
Better than an old one.
Yeah, who doesn't want?
This smells like a young barrel. This does not
It
smell
really
like
does.
an older whiskey. I'm picking
Just-
up on pine and sappy notes.
Do
in
we
here.
have an age statement?
No,
Well, it's straight,
it's straight and it's got no age, so it's at least 4.
right?
Yeah.
So I would guess it's probably more like 6.
It's 90.4 proof.
But you never know. It's just got all the weirdness, so who knows? It does have chocolate, but it's malty and nutty.
Yeah.
But to me, the biggest note I pick up is stale bread crust.
I can get behind a stale bread.
And I get the chocolate, but I get the graininess in there.
It's fake chocolate.
Fake chocolate,
Yeah.
that's why I said Tootsie Roll.
It is dark, but it's also salty and earthy, like the forest floor
I get the salt.
and dusty corn. But it's also got the barnyard hay you get in the young whiskey, which is it's just so
right, and
weird.
that's probably why we both, it's a young whiskey. It's got that hay-like tendency.
It does.
I'm getting sapped too.
And day-old coffee grounds.
Ooh.
I don't really keep day-old coffee grounds, so I'm not quite sure what that smells like.
Well,
I've come in the morning and had.
exactly. It's what it is. It's when you go into the office and somebody didn't change the filter from the night before.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I don't drink office coffee.
Well, I don't either, so I just drink tea.
Oh, it tastes-
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get a rye note, but it's not overly pickly rye note. I get a slight spice to it. I don't get very much chocolate on the first drink. The
It's very
finish.
thin on the first sip. First initial impression to me was just thin. What's the proof on this?
90.4, which is the standard Woodford proof.
Okay.
Maybe they bumped the proof up, which we'll review their batch proofs, and we'll see how that compares. We'll do that at some point in time.
Okay, about mid palate, I get a little bit of the chocolate. It's almost like sucking on a Tootsie Pop, and then you get to Tootsie Roll in the center
Yeah.
type of thing.
Oh, it really is.
It's not overly chocolatey like some of the other chocolate
Right,
malted,
yeah, it's not.
that we've had before.
It's not like the Balcones rye that's
no,
very chocolatey.
no. It's
Yeah.
not bad.
No, it's very malty too, which is weird for a 15% barley to be that malty. Maybe this is the malted rye too is causing the maltiness You
Yeah.
get 30% malt at that point, but still, it's very malty. It is chocolate and roasted peanuts.
I get the nuttiness on the finish.
It's like dark, bitter chocolate rather than a sweet dark chocolate.
And see, I still stand by my Tootsie Roll Pop.
Yep.
You know, it's also got a bready, chewy, old cheese funk. Damp black mold. Old people house. But it also finishes with like a froth toasted oak and mocha. It's got a long finish though. It's got a really long like Starbucks mocha grinding on the end of a frappuccino. It's a very weird whiskey.
Yeah, it's very complex.
There's a lot going on.
Each sip, I get something different.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff that you've already named fits perfectly for what's going on in here.
Yeah, it is complex. I mean, I can see why experiment now. I think this is one you probably really want to sit with for like an hour to really and truly figure out what the heck's going on in here.
Let it open up more.
It's wild. It's not a bad whiskey. It's just weird.
The water turns it more into a classic bourbon.
Really?
A little bit less of the strange flavors that were floating around. A little bit less of the chocolate. Kind of muted that part of it down and just kind of remained a steady bourbon that way.
Interesting.
Because I'm not sure if you blinded somebody this, you'd know this was a bourbon, to be real honest.
No, I would not think.
I don't think
I would
bourbon.
probably just say whiskey.
Yeah, I would think it's just
Whiskey
a
bourbon.
blend
Yeah.
of American whiskey. Yeah, not a.
I would not think
Bourbon.
this was a bourbon.
Yeah, you're really not picking it. It's the fact that that's 70% corn at that. It's not even barely a bourbon. That's a bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
No,
I like it, but it's weird.
it's that malted hay
On the nose, that's
rye-ish that.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
on the nose. I would probably say I would lean towards corn as the dominant grain on the nose, just
A
because
young-
of that.
yeah, the young
just
corn,
because of
yeah.
that young corn
Hay,
and
corny,
hay. Right.
like
Yeah.
you would think it was just a young bourbon.
Yeah.
But then you drink it, and
Right,
it
and
just
without the
throws
water.
you off.
Without the water,
Yeah.
it was very unique. With the water, it leaned again back towards more bourbon heavy notes.
All right.
Well, it's just a funky adventure.
It definitely is. I mean, it's not horrible.
No.
Not at all.
Now, is it worth $130? No.
I wouldn't pay $130 for it.
No. But fun to have it either way.
Yeah.
If you don't mind spending the money, I'd get it. If not, then don't bother.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So.
Fair enough.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Drop us a comment below. Until next time,
Keep on crusading for better whiskey in your glass.
cheers. Yeah,
That's a weird
my
whiskey.
dad was like that.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Today we're going to be drinking Woodford Reserve's Chocolate Malted Rye Kentucky Straight Bourbon I almost got you.
Or
Master's
Collection.
Okay.
You almost did it.
I almost had it.
You almost had that.
I really did. Yeah, you could've given it to me.
Did forget.
Today we're going to be drinking
Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Chocolate Malted Rye Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
that is a mouthful.
That's correct, though.
Smell it. Why? You nailed it. Why would I do it a second time?
Whatever works. So you want me to go ahead now?
No.
Alright. Try this again, and then we'll go from there.
Take 20.
Today we're going to be drinking. Oh man. I don't know if we're going to ever get to drinking it.